And this week, this segment is called Is It Over? And we're talking about Big Sean. Alright, so Big Sean, legendary artist. As far as for his generation, he was always, I would say, number 4 or 5. He was always someone that he felt like he should have been in the so-called big 3 of that era, where everybody always kind of kept him outside of it, but he always felt like he should have been there. And then he kind of inspired some of the people that's in the big 3 as far as some of the stuff that they did, right? Specifically, right? Because like over here, bro, like there's certain things that we just gonna say it because, bro, we gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? So there was a time and space, if you remembered, where he was complaining about Drake taking his flow, right? And to be honest, bro, and I feel like to a certain degree, this is why he never kind of broke into the big 3 as far as the majority of people's consensus. I feel like, okay, say Drake took your flow, bro. And I'm not saying he didn't, bro. I could definitely hear how he took your flow. One, people take flows all the time, bro. Like, as far as, bro, what starting from your era to this era, people take flows, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, people keeping your flow is one thing, and maybe you even felt like Drake kept your flow. Well, sure, I could see that, I could hear that, bro. I'm not saying he didn't, bro. What I'm saying is, bro, okay, took your flow. It's like a Quentin Miller kind of thing, bro. I'm not saying you Quentin Miller, and I'm not saying Quentin Miller is not dope. I'm saying that's kind of what Drake does to a certain degree, bro. And to this point, to where he's at right now, you can't necessarily hold that against him, bro. At least I feel, bro. He took your flow. People felt like he did it better, bro. People felt like they liked it better when he did it, bro. Now, there's people who are in hip hop who feel like, man, that's lame. He shouldn't have taken his flow anyways. And then there's the masses, a lot of people in the masses who feel like, bruh, we rather hear from him than you. Or, not that we rather hear from, because Big Sean is still a big artist, no Diddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, it's just, yeah, Drake was promoted more, right? To a certain degree. The labels and the music industry kind of messed with him more than you, bro. They felt like he was probably more marketable than you, right? At the same time, the masses just felt like he did it just a little better, bro. And don't get me wrong, that happens to a lot of artists, bro. And this is why I said what I said, why to a certain degree, people never really, for the general consensus, never really put you in the big 3 compared to him, right? It's just because, like, excuses can only take you so far when it comes to some of this stuff, bro. You could be right, bro. Trust me, bro. You could be right. You could be right, bro. Everybody could agree that you're right, bro. Guess what, though? Guess what? Like, that only means so much, bro. You're just gonna be the artist that people gonna be talking about. Yeah, he did do this, and it's 9 times out of 10 just gonna be your fans, bro. He did take his flow. He did it. But at the end of the day, bro, like, it's only a few people gonna be saying that when like the legacy comes down to it. Like, as far as when everything is talked about in the end, bro. And this ain't the end, but I'm talking right now though. It's like that doesn't hold that much of a weight, bro, unless you find a way to finagle and finesse, bro, to a point where they're saying he did take his flow, but that didn't even matter, bro. Where that would be a thing where they're saying like, bro is still nicer than him and he still took his flow. It's like that's a whole different perspective. That's a whole viewpoint of it where it's just like they're saying that rather than it's just your fans and a certain percentage of your fans saying he took his flow, man. That's why none of this happened. Rather than he took his flow, he still couldn't mess with bro. It's two ways to look at it. So it's like that doesn't really matter that much, bro. You know, and that's what Drake does, bro. But he made it to where he's at though. And there's a lot of people who complain, but a lot of those people go try to like take the same formula and it only works so much for them. That's just his thing, bro. Where you take your thing, study it, and do it in a way where people like it better. I'm not even gonna say he does it better, because whoever created to a certain degree, they could always say they did it better because they created it. So they'll take it, he would take it and do it in a way where the masses might like it more. I'll say it like that, bro. Like, I think Big Sean, speaking, if I'm like just directly speaking to him and his fans, I think his first album is a classic. Every song on that joint goes fire. Detroit, that mixtape, classic. Had that on rotation, classic. It's crazy that that's a mixtape. I think that might be your best project. I think that might be his best project, bro. Detroit. And it's crazy that that's a mixtape. And I know he wrote a bunch of stuff for Kanye too. But bro, all that doesn't really count. To keep it real, as far as like writing stuff for Kanye, that doesn't really count. Or anybody else you write for, that doesn't really count. It counts, but it doesn't really count, bro. But that Detroit tape, that should have been an album. But it always goes like that. But it's good that you have a classic mixtape. Classic. That mixtape is every song on it. Bro, that mixtape is so crazy. To me, that might be his like best project, if you ask me. First album crazy too though. A lot of people don't talk about that album, but that album is like, that's a classic, bro. That first album, crazy. That first album was crazy. And he had a bunch of other albums that's fire. Like, bro is a legend. I'm not gonna say he's not. He is, bro. A lot of people don't speak on it, but as far as his discography and a lot of songs he made, and again, I say like the stuff he wrote doesn't count, but like he's better than a lot of artists, bro. But they don't speak on him. He's better than he's had a great career. He had a lot of hits. His discography is fire. And as far as from Detroit, he's definitely top 5, no questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro is a legend, bro. Even though I don't feel like he gets treated like one. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that they never really considered him part of the big 3. And then now I feel like he's at a point where he doesn't even get attention like that, as far as like when he drops music. Yeah, people listen to it, but it's like when Kendrick, Drake, or Cole drops, it's like Kendrick, Drake, or Cole drop. When he drops, it's like people mention it, but it's like, eh. And the thing with him too, he did the whole celebrity couple thing. Bro was dating the one girl, I think from Glee. Like, he was out there, like that joint, like, you know, that joint was helping his career, where he was like transitioning, or he got introduced to a whole different like fan base, where like he was up there, like he was almost like lingering around the pop lane thing. And then he was with Ariana Grande, right? Like Ariana Grande, my bad, I'm tripping. I mean that. Ariana Grande, like, shout out to her, bro. Yeah, shout out to her. I used to watch it. What was that show she was on? On Nickelodeon, yeah, I used to watch that joint. Like, yeah, she been. Shout out to her, bro. She been around for a while. Yeah, she's still around, bro. That's a lot. Most people can't do that. Anyways, that's not what we're here for. Like he was dating her, bro. Like he was literally in that lane where like where he was like almost lingering on the pop stuff, bro. And you know when you at that around that lingering around there, bro, that means something. You feel me? Like, that means something. Like, so it's like, but now it just seems like he didn't completely fall off, but as far as like mainstream, as far as attention wise, it almost seems like he's non-existent, bro. Like he drops songs and his verses are fire and he does what he does. Like I saw him, he did like something I saw a little bit ago where it was like a live performance. I think he performed like an album or something or a bunch of songs in like I think the Detroit Museum or some type of museum or something. It was fire, bro. It was a nice vibe. But at the end of the day, bro, nobody really talked about that as far as. And I'm not saying you should depend on these medias and stuff to talk about it, bro. But at the same time, that's a gauge of where you are to a certain degree, bro. And he did the whole thing too with maybe that was his gift and his curse, bro. It's him doing the whole public relationship with these girls, bro. Cause then he did the whole joint albums with Janae Aiko. And then they had a kid. I don't see her around either, to be honest. And it seems like, bro, like maybe once people get that attached in their head, like you the guy that goes and does this these public relationships with these girls that's like pop stars or around that pop star lane, you become that type of guy where it's just like if you don't have one of them on your arm, it's like you ain't getting too much attention. It's almost like they're a crutch, bro. I don't know, bro. Maybe. Because it seems like, now that I'm thinking about it, you always got like one of them. And maybe your music just became the guy who, if it ain't a package, either with Kanye or with one of these girls, like, people aren't really interested in you like that. Because it's like, what's really your story, bro? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how people probably view it. I don't know, bro. I could be wrong, but like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like cause Kanye went and dissed you and said all those things. It seems like it's not a Kanye thing no more. Not a good music thing no more. People don't really see it with Janae. It's not a you and Janae thing no more. It's not Ariana Grande thing. It's not the girl from Glee. Rest in peace to her too. It's just you now, and it seems like it ain't much attention, bro. So it's like, is it over? Is it over? The question, man.